What have you accidentally invented in your mind before you realized it already exists in the world in some form? I'd kid this counts, but growing up I went to my dad with an idea of colors we can't see. Because we're humans, there's more to the world than just how we're built. Something like that. I had to be somewhere around 7. He got really mad and yelled at me about it though, so it always stuck with me. Turns out I was completely right and we discovered impossible colors sometime in the 1980s, because humans only have 3 cones and other animals like the mantis shrimp have 5. So, I could really been something, you know. My kid said something inventive. It's rage time, apparently. When we were memorizing the times tables in elementary school, I couldn't get the 9s, for whatever reason. So I'm studying this, trying to figure out how to remember it, when I stumbled on a pattern. If you're multiplying the number by 9, you could multiply it by 10 instead, and just subtract the original number. I thought I was so fucking brilliant, like I'm going to be some math prodigy or something. Yeah, no, it turns out that's just how all multiplication works. Looking back though, it's pretty dumb that we make kids rote memorize these dumb tables, instead of helping them understand the core idea in the first place. 9s was always easy for me on the early tables because up until you get to 10 the numbers in the answer always add up to 9. For example, 1 by 9 equals 9, 0 plus 9 equals 9, 2 by 9 equals 18, 1 plus 8 equals 9, 3 by 9 equals 27, 2 plus 7 equals 9, 4 by 9 equals 36, 3 plus 6 equals 9, etc. I've always thought about this as well. So much so that I realized you can multiply any 2-digit number by 9 and get the right answer without actually doing any multiplication at all. You can do it just by adding and subtracting. For instance, if it's a teen number you minus 2 then add to get 9. E.g. 18 by 9 you say 18 minus 2 is 16. 1 plus 6 plus equals 9, so 18 by 9 equals 162. If it's 20-something x 9 then subtract 3. If it's 30-something x 9 then subtract 4, etc. So 38 by 9 would be 38 to 4 equals 34. 3 plus 4 plus equals 9, so the answer must be 342. Edit, just to add, when larger numbers are involved then obviously they can't all add up to 9 but the system still works. They just add up to 18 instead. E.g. 77 by 9 is 77 minus 8 equals 69. So 6 plus 9 plus equals 18, so the answer must be 693. I have been known, when feeling a mite peckish, to make toast, top it with butter, then sprinkle, liberally, brown sugar on it. One such time, I had the brainwave that I could pre-mix the butter and the brown sugar. So I did. Put them in a little bowl, whipped them together for a couple minutes, made a sweet buttery spread. And it was delicious. And I was very pleased with my culinary genius. Until I realized I had just invented buttercream frosting. And also that I was the sort of person who thought it was okay to frost his toast. Greater than toast, top it with butter, then sprinkle, liberally, brown sugar on it. One step shy of cinnamon toast too lol. Live wire orange Mountain Dew. My friend and I decided to mix Crush with Mountain Dew once and found it was delicious. Then a few weeks later we saw it at a gas station and thought the CIA was listening to our phone lines, pre-cell phones, for our area at least. What is this orange Mountain Dew you speak of? Over here we just have the normal one. It was a short-lived, delicious experiment, like most of the Mountain Dew flavors. I expect Murica Dew to be gone within a couple weeks, if it's not already, despite Blue Raspberry being a goldmine for the brand. I still miss the Pitch Black 2 flavor. Sour Purple Dew, it was delicious. Edit, sounds like most of those flavors are still around in various parts of the US. I just haven't noticed them in my neck of the woods in a while. I was watching Black Mirror, and I was thinking how the seasons only have like 3 to 4 episodes, then I thought well it's okay since the episodes are long. Then I got thinking what if they made a season with 1 episode and the 1 episode is really long. Then I realized that those are just movies. You have invented the MCU, with less Spider-Man than before. Trademark. One time I had a dream about a super cool game, and it was totally original and so cool. I was so excited, but still somewhat sleep deprived, so I started to tell someone I knew on AIM. He listens for a bit and then goes, "Motherfucker, you just described StarCraft." I woke up a little bit and realized, shit, I dreamed about StarCraft and forgot. Sounds like you should have constructed additional pylons. The floor is lava. Seems kids around the world independently invent this game though, so I hypothesize this is some instinctual thing. It's true. Most of the children I know, and even some adults, have a very strong instinct to not stand in lava. I decided that leggings would be better if they had socks attached and got really excited about my invention idea for a solid minute until I realized I had just invented tights. Nah, I've had this discussion before with my skier buddies. They should make long johns with built-in ski socks. My buddy said like tights, and I was like, nah, you want it to be the different materials for both, but attached so you don't have to have the uncomfortable in-boot overlap of sock and long john cuffs. I have tights like this. They're my favorite. The top is like regular thick tights, but they have thicker knee-high socks attached. Much more comfortable and looks smoother than wearing socks over tights. Edit, bought at Target, women's tights. I was thinking of how Bitcoin could be used practically, and then I was like, well, you could use it to buy goods, but to stop fluctuation so people could actually afford things, you would have to tie it to those goods, or more likely to some central system. That's how I invented fiat currency. So you buy things with fiats. I'll trade you 2 pandas for a 500. Socks for your hands. Thought this was a genius idea, and how has no one ever thought of this before? Then I remembered that gloves exist. Fun fact, the German word for gloves is Handschuhe, which literally translates to hand shoes. My son is in an advanced German in high school, and he just got done telling me and his mother that also birth control is the equivalent of anti-baby pill. In 2012 I had become obsessed with the idea of a quicker condom. Just pull out of your pocket, jam your penis into the condom packaging side that says insert here, and the packaging was breakaway, and boom, condom applied in seconds. I drew up concepts on how it would work and all that and dated it. Never went so far as a prototype, but damn, I was so proud of my idea, but I'm a moron and thought I was dumb to think this idea was anything worth a damn. 2013, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is offering $100K for new inventive condoms that will change the world and make safe sex easier or more safe. I learn about this challenge too late, but I think, my god, I've done it. I have the perfect condom, maybe I can send it. Yeah. Number 1, https://www.fastcompany.com/3021941/8 amazing condom concepts that actually feel good, funded by the Gates Foundation. Big oof, my man. Blinkers. I worked in a kitchen at the time, and yelling, corner, became such a habit that I occasionally did it while driving. On one such occasion I thought, it would be pretty nice if there was a way I could actually communicate to other drivers that I am turning. Then it hit me. I also worked kitchens and bars, and whenever I walk behind someone, I loudly declare behind. Or, when I go around a corner, I yell corner, like you. Also, once I've walked off the bakery section of a supermarket and they had just opened the oven to pull out some breads, and I yelled oven is open. Pretty loudly, as that was a thing at the place I worked at that time. I currently manage a brewpub where we communicate via walkie-talkies, as the place has 3 floors in total. Whenever using one, I have a clip-on on the neck of my shirt with a button I press to talk. So my new thing is to automatically reach for the neck of my shirt when I want to say something to someone. Yesterday these came together in the supermarket when I walked up behind someone, reached for the neck of my shirt and blurted out behind. I dropped a glass on the floor, again, and said, "Arg, why haven't they invented cup made of unbreakable material? You mean plastic beakers, like for children?" I wish it was acceptable for adults to use plastic beakers, and that they can be used for coffee. You mean like to-go mugs? For me it's mainly random guitar riffs or melodies. I think them up randomly and I'm like, that would be really cool in a song, then I realize that they are. A dishwasher. I always had to do the dishes by hand growing up. I told my friend I wish there was a machine that could do the dishes. She then in fact told me about dishwashers. I was blown away. I grew up in an Asian household and they always believed that it was a waste to have a dishwashing machine. Asian here. We had a dishwashing machine growing up which was used for storage. The day I found out that shit would clean the dishes instead of me standing on a step stool doing everything by hand, well, you can bet your ass that I naturally said nothing and went and did my homework. Friends like to go to bars and hang out a lot. I don't drink, but I do get hungry and most bar food is only okay at best. I wish they served better food for me to eat. I also hate having to yell to hold a conversation, so I wish they turned the music down and it was generally quieter and we could hear each other at a normal volume. So there should be, like, a bar but that serves a wider variety of better food and that has quiet music so you can hear each other talk. Great idea. Wait, that's just a restaurant. Self. You want to hang out in restaurants. If it wasn't for the better food part, you almost invented Applebee's. I like fantasy and sci-fi, so I'm going to write a novel mixing them both. It'll be wizards in space. I'm going to make $1 bajillion. Oh wait, I just invented Star Wars. My dad, a French immigrant, and I, as a child, both used to mess around and surprise each other by yelling sassafras. Since we would often make up stupid words to joke about. It was a good 5 years of messing around with that word before we realized it was an actual herb. My friends would call each other dillweed as a joke/insult. I think we heard it on Beavis and Butthead. I nearly died laughing when I found a jar of it in my grandmom's cupboard. I had no idea it was a real world. To be 10 again. I still remember this because I was so proud of it at the time. My father used to build and race stock cars when I was very young. It never really interested me, but of course I was always supportive and hoping my father would win. So I decided I would help him out with strategy. You see, I realized at the time when you have to slow down the most was when you turn the car. You can go really fast straight, but you have to slow down to turn. But what if you didn't have to turn as sharp? When you get to the turn, go all the way to the outside, and then halfway through the turn be on the inside, and then when you're leaving the turn go back to the outside. That means you don't have to turn that as sharp as everyone else, and you can go faster in the turn. For anyone not familiar with a racing line, I basically drew him a picture that looked a lot like this. https://driver61.com/wp-content/uploads/2016/03/racingline.jpg. I remember being so proud of myself for figuring that out and excitedly telling him about it. He got a pretty good laugh out of it and seemed to appreciate the advice. That's actually very smart for a little kid to figure out. Hell, I still know adults that ride motorcycles that can't apex a turn well. I'm adult. Do not have motorcycle, but have car. Cannot racing line to save my fucking life. I once got really high. Realizing I was thirsty, I thought about getting a drink, but having the taste of tobacco and weed in my mouth, I didn't want to drink anything like Coke or milk that had a flavor, as the two wouldn't mix well. So it got me wondering what a flavorless drink would be like. It would probably be weirdly good, and popular too, I thought, as it would only quench thirst, without forcing you to have a new taste in your mouth. Surely it would be great with food. But how could I go about creating a drink that's flavorless, pleasant to drink and hydrating? I asked myself. Maybe if you could, like, extract the essence of other drinks, stay with me bro, and like somehow put that in a glass. That would be awesome, bro. Moisture is the essence of wetness, and wetness is the essence of beauty. If you put pictures along a subway wall at the right distance from each other, and the train is moving at a constant speed, it will look like a movie to passengers in the train. Held on to this invention until I saw one of these in the train from Heathrow to central London once. There are probably others elsewhere. I saw it in Madrid, thought it was pretty cool. When I was 13 or 14 years old, I always thought it would be a good idea to have a doorbell that also took a picture or video when someone pressed it. Sort of like an answering machine for your front door. Also to maybe see who you missed stopping by while you were gone, security purposes too. Reason being is my best friend lived next door, and if he wasn't home I wanted him to know I stopped by to see if he could hang out. And now we have all sorts of camera/video doorbells. This was surprisingly wholesome, thank you lol. Those knobs you attach to steering wheels for easy one-handed turning. I thought I was brilliant. Turns out I was just decades late. On that note, I was driving with my dad once and suddenly had the brilliant idea that cars should have a mechanism that lets other drivers know when they are turning. Wish I could say this was when I was very young, but I was at least in HS when I had this epiphany. My dad was just like, you mean turn signals? What really needs to be a thing are U-turn signals. THC infused rolling papers. Already been done. For some reason I read this as THC infused toilet papers. That would be something. Those bathroom stalls would constantly be in use. This would not end well for anyone. The color green. I was coloring a picture at home. I think it was a football player, first with yellow, then I accidentally drew with blue over it and the result was turquoise greenish. Somewhere over the next few days in school, we had to do presentations and we were trying to decide for a color for the header. I was like, how about this? Showed it on my paper and everyone was like, no, green is boring. Let's go with something else, which was when I realized, ooh, yeah, that's green, oops. I'll call it Blello. A plus Malcolm in the Middle reference. I was watching Chopped the other night and a judge invented the chili dog. Another judge had to break the news to him. Please tell me you know what episode it was, I want to see their face. It was a challenge where a form of hot dog was in every basket. I just googled either it's called hot doggin' or hot dog hot shots. Got into a drunken conversation with my cousin and we invented a toilet that had a built-in exhaust fan that would suck your stink air out instead of having a normal fan in the ceiling. We went on and on about the proper implementation of it for like 20 minutes before thinking to Google it. They exist, and they're expensive. Frown. The fan in the ceiling is more for getting rid of excess humidity than it is about getting rid of shitty smells. I thought they were there just to be noisy, so no one would hear your booty tooting. Just after college I was working on a cargo ship with a friend of mine and we were having one of those deep smoke breaks where you get into heady stuff in a cigarette's length of time, ~7 minutes for those of you who don't smoke. I told him that over the last few years I'd developed a personal life philosophy, one where the world is too absurd/unpredictable to form any foundations for the meaning of life and that true meaning is only derived from oneself. Nothing has any inherent meaning, so giving meaning to something necessarily makes that thing meaningful. Congratulations, dipshit, you've just invented existentialism. Hey man, I stand by it. And socialism, the town I grew up in has a lot of people asking for money or begging for food on the streets. I thought, why don't they just group themselves, and what little money they earn, they share, by buying things and living in a place they can all use. I was really young. Maybe just learned to read. I had no idea about what it would imply in the long run and that wars had been fought about it. After a long day pushing my son around Disney World in his stroller, I was daydreaming about how nice it would be for there to be adult-sized strollers that we could use to get off our feet when we are tired. And that's the day I invented the wheelchair. I always wanted a bed with wheels where I could lie face down and was low enough to the ground to pull myself along with my hands. Not great for hills. Possibly the laziest thing I have ever read.